1. BIOS, Basic Input-Output System. Firmware that initializes and tests computer hardware components during the boot process before handing control to the operating system. 2. CMOS, Complementary Metal Oxide Semiconductor, a small battery-backed chip on the motherboard that stores system configuration settings like date, time, and boot order. 3. RAM, Random Access Memory, temporary memory that a computer uses to store data actively being processed, allowing for fast read and write access. 4. ROM, Read-Only Memory, permanent memory that stores firmware and critical startup instructions that cannot be easily modified or erased. 5. CPU, Central Processing Unit, the primary processor of a computer responsible for executing instructions and performing calculations, often called the brain of the system. 6. GPU, Graphics Processing Unit, a specialized processor designed to rapidly render images, video, and graphics for display output. 7. HDD, Hard Disk Drive, a traditional storage device that uses spinning magnetic platters to read and write data. 8. SSD, Solid-State Drive, a faster, more durable storage device that uses flash memory with no moving parts, offering significantly faster data access than an HDD. CompTIA A, Serial Advanced Technology Attachment, a standard interface used to connect storage devices like hard drives and optical drives to the motherboard. 10. RAID, Redundant Array of Independent Disks, a method of combining multiple storage drives to improve performance, redundancy, or both depending on the RAID level used. 11. USB, Universal Serial Bus, a widely used standard interface for connecting peripherals and transferring data between devices and a computer. 12. VGA, Video Graphics Array, an older analog video display standard used to connect monitors to computers, largely replaced by digital standards like HDMI and DisplayPort. 13. HDMI, High Definition Multimedia Interface, a digital interface that transmits both high-definition audio and video signals over a single cable. 14. NIC, Network Interface Card, a hardware component that allows a computer to connect to a network, either through a wired Ethernet port or wirelessly. 15. Wi-Fi, a wireless networking technology that allows devices to connect to a local area network and the Internet without physical cables. 16. Router, a network device that directs data traffic between different networks, including routing Internet traffic between your home network and your ISP. 17. Switch, a network device that connects multiple devices within the same local network and intelligently forwards data only to the intended recipient. 18. Firewall, a network security system, either hardware or software, that monitors and filters incoming and outgoing traffic based on defined security rules. 19. VPN, Virtual Private Network, a technology that creates an encrypted tunnel over the Internet to securely connect a device to a remote network. 20. OS, Operating System, the core software that manages a computer's hardware resources and provides the environment in which applications run. 21. I/O, Input/Output, the communication process between a computer and external devices. Input refers to data coming in, and output refers to data going out. 22. Peripheral, an external device such as a printer, keyboard, mouse, or monitor that connects to and works with a computer. 23. Driver. Software that enables the operating system to communicate with and control a specific hardware device. 24. Kernel. The core component of an operating system that manages system resources and facilitates communication between hardware and software. 25. Virtualization. The process of creating a virtual version of a hardware platform, operating system, or storage device using software. 26. Boot sequence. The order in which a computer searches storage devices for an operating system to load during startup. 27. Post. Power on self-test. A diagnostic routine that runs automatically when a computer is powered on, to verify that core hardware components are functioning correctly. 28. Malware. Malicious software designed to harm, exploit, or gain unauthorized access to a computer system or its data. 29. Antivirus. Security software that detects, quarantines, and removes malware from a device using signature-based and behavioral analysis. 30. Spyware. A type of malware that secretly monitors user activity and collects personal information without the user's knowledge or consent. 31. Trojan. Malware that disguises itself as legitimate software to trick users into installing it, then performs malicious actions in the background. 32. Worm. A self-replicating type of malware that spreads across networks and systems without requiring user interaction or a host file. 33. Phishing. A social engineering attack that uses deceptive emails or messages to trick users into revealing credentials or sensitive information. 34. Ransomware. Malware that encrypts a victim's files and demands payment, typically in cryptocurrency, in exchange for the decryption key. 35. Backup. A copy of data stored separately from the original, so it can be used to restore files in the event of loss, corruption, or attack. 36. Cloud storage. A service that stores data on remote servers accessible via the Internet, enabling access from any device with a connection. 37. LAN. Local area network. A network that connects computers and devices within a limited geographic area, such as a home, office, or building. 38. WAN. Wide area network. A network that spans a large geographic area, connecting multiple LANs. The Internet itself is the largest one. 39. TCP/IP. Transmission Control Protocol, Internet Protocol. The foundational communication protocols that govern how data is transmitted and received across the Internet. 40. IP address. A unique numerical identifier assigned to each device on a network that enables it to send and receive data. 41. DNS. Domain Name System. The system that translates human-readable domain names like google.com into the IP addresses computers use to communicate. 42. DHCP. Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. A network protocol that automatically assigns IP addresses and network configuration settings to devices on a network. 43. Proxy server. An intermediary server that sits between a client and the Internet, forwarding requests and providing caching, filtering, or anonymity. 44. ISP. Internet Service Provider. A company that provides individuals and organizations with access to the Internet. 45. HTTPS. Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure. Protocols used for transferring web page data. HTTPS adds TLS encryption to protect data in transit. 46. URL, Uniform Resource Locator, the complete web address used to locate a specific page or resource on the Internet. 47. HTML, Hypertext Markup Language, the standard language used to structure and display content on web pages. 48. BIOS Password, a password configured in the BIOS or UEFI settings to prevent unauthorized users from booting or modifying system configuration. 49. UEFI, Unified Extensible Firmware Interface, a modern replacement for BIOS that offers faster boot times, a graphical interface, and support for larger storage drives. 50. Safe Mode, a diagnostic startup mode in Windows that loads only essential drivers and services used to troubleshoot system problems. 51. Defragmentation, the process of reorganizing fragmented data on a spinning hard disk drive to improve read and write performance. 52. File system, the method an operating system uses to organize, store, and retrieve data on a storage device. 53. NTFS, New Technology File System, the default file system used by modern Windows operating systems supporting large files, permissions, and encryption. 54. FAT32, File Allocation Table 32, an older, widely compatible file system commonly used for USB drives and memory cards due to its broad device support. 55. Partition, a logically separated section of a storage drive that the operating system treats as an independent unit with its own file system. 56. GUI, Graphical User Interface, a visual interface that allows users to interact with a computer using icons, windows, and menus rather than text commands. 57. CLI, Command Line Interface, a text-based interface where users type commands directly to interact with the operating system or applications. 58. API, Application Programming Interface, a set of rules and protocols that allows different software applications to communicate and share data with each other. 59. RGB, Red, Green, Blue, the color model used by digital displays, where colors are created by combining different intensities of red, green, and blue light. 60. CMYK, Cyan, Magenta, Yellow, Black, the color model used in printing, where colors are created by combining these four ink colors. 61. Dot Matrix Printer, an older impact printer that forms characters and images by striking pins against an ink ribbon, commonly used for multi-part forms. 62. Laser Printer, a printer that uses a laser beam to create an electrostatic image on a drum, which is then transferred to paper using toner. 63. Inkjet Printer, a printer that sprays tiny droplets of ink onto paper to produce text and images, common for home and small office use. 64. Thermal Printer, a printer that uses heat to activate special paper or transfer ink, commonly used for receipts and labels. 65. Resolution, a measure of image or display sharpness, typically expressed in pixels per inch, PPI, or dots per inch, DPI. 66. Pixel, the smallest individual element of a digital image or display, combining with millions of others to form a complete picture. 67. Bit, the smallest unit of data in computing, representing a binary value of either 0 or 1. 68. Byte, a group of 8 bits, used as the basic unit for measuring data storage. 1 byte can represent a single character. 69. Motherboard, the main circuit board in a computer that connects and allows communication between the CPU, RAM, storage, and all other components. 70. Power Supply Unit, PSU, a hardware component that converts AC power from a wall outlet into the DC voltages required by computer components. 1. Optical drive, a drive that uses a laser to read from and write to optical discs, such as CDs, DVDs, and Blu-rays. 72. Expansion slot, a slot on the motherboard that accepts additional cards, such as a GPU, sound card, or NSE, to expand system capabilities. 73. Heatsink, a passive cooling component that absorbs and dissipates heat away from a processor or other heat-generating components. 74. Fan, an active cooling component that circulates airflow over heat sinks and through a computer case to maintain safe operating temperatures. 75. Modem, a device that modulates and demodulates signals to enable digital data to be transmitted over analog telephone or cable lines. 76. Bluetooth, a short-range wireless technology standard used for exchanging data between devices such as phones, headsets, and keyboards. 77. Ethernet, a wired networking technology used to connect devices in a local area network using physical cables for fast and reliable data transfer. 78. Hotspot, a location or device that provides wireless internet access, either a physical Wi-Fi access point or a mobile device sharing its cellular connection. 79. Patch, a software update released to fix security vulnerabilities, correct bugs, or improve the performance of an application or operating system. 80. Plug and play, a standard that allows a computer to automatically detect, configure, and install drivers for a newly connected hardware device. 81. Overclocking, the practice of running a CPU, GPU, or RAM at speeds higher than the manufacturer's rated specification to gain additional performance. 82. Virtual machine, a software-based emulation of a physical computer that runs its own operating system and applications independently of the host. 83. BIOS update, a firmware upgrade applied to the BIOS or UEFI to fix bugs, add compatibility with new hardware, or improve system stability. 84. Freeware, software that is available at no cost and can be used indefinitely, though the source code is typically not publicly available. 85. Shareware, software distributed for free on a trial basis that requires payment to unlock full functionality or continue use after a trial period. 86. Open source, software whose source code is publicly available, allowing anyone to view, modify, and distribute it under the terms of its license. 87. EULA End-User License Agreement, a legal contract between a software developer and the user that defines the terms under which the software may be used. 88. Operating system upgrade, the process of installing a newer version of an OS to gain new features, improved performance, and continued security support. 89. Peripheral driver, software that allows the operating system to communicate with and control a specific peripheral device connected to the computer. 90. System restore, a Windows feature that allows users to roll back their system settings and registry to a previous restore point without affecting personal files. 91. Recovery partition. A dedicated section of a storage drive that contains a backup image of the operating system used to restore the computer to factory settings. 92. Remote desktop. A technology that allows a user to access and control a computer from a different physical location over a network connection. 93. Encryption. The process of converting readable data into an unreadable format using an algorithm so that only authorized parties with the correct key can access it. 94. Two-factor authentication, 2FA. A security process that requires users to verify their identity using two separate methods, typically a password and a one-time code. 95. Password Manager. Software that securely stores, organizes, and autofills passwords, reducing the risk of weak or reused credentials. 96. Patch Management. The process of regularly identifying, testing, and applying software patches and updates to keep systems secure and up to date. 97. Malware Scan. A security process in which antivirus or anti-malware software scans a system's files and memory for known threats and suspicious behavior. 98. Software Update. A release from a software developer that delivers bug fixes, security patches, performance improvements, or new features to an existing application. 99. Disaster Recovery. A set of policies and procedures designed to restore critical systems, data, and operations following a major failure or catastrophic event. 100. Network Topology. The physical or logical arrangement of devices and connections in a computer network. Common types include star, bus, ring, and mesh.